Good evening, everyone. Appreciate you being here. Hope you've had a great week. Kentucky is playing right now. They got 4 games this week, but I usually don't do webinars when Kentucky's playing, but they're winning by 32 at half, so we're good to go. We're good to go, and I'm really excited about tonight. They did win last night, 108-56. So to say and it's not even basketball season, you know, football hasn't started yet, but we're kind of crazy in Kentucky, so it's been good. Got 2 more games this weekend. If this is your first time ever with us, welcome. I'm glad you're with us. Appreciate you being here. We're here every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Want to welcome all the new people. We've had several people join us in the last 7 days, join this team. Good to have you guys with us. Those of you that are watching live or watching the recording, all of you, we appreciate you and appreciate you being here. Got to say congratulations to Gabe up in upstate New York, becoming a new 10 Club member this week. Tom in Chicago as well, new 10 Club member, and Bobby's in the Dallas area. Congratulations to you 3 new 10 Club members. Good to have you guys with us. Just a quick update on Vegas. Those of you that are going to be there live, we'll be as a group in the back left-hand corner of the room. The back left-hand corner of the room, that's where we'll be meeting. After the main event, we will not be attending the after party. There's an additional cost for that. We are not going to be doing that. We are going to be meeting as a group. Dave has found a place for us. It's about a mile from where the event's going to be. It's at a timeshare facility. They have a meeting room. I'm expecting 10, 12, 15 people from this group, and then we'll probably do a Facebook Live for people that aren't there. But my plan is, I don't know if this is going to be over at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, who knows? So the plan, and we'll give you more details when we have the exact address and so on. But my plan is we'll meet at 8 o'clock at this meeting room facility. I think he said it could hold up to 40 people, so we'll be good. So if we get out at 5 o'clock, you can have some time to chill, go get something to eat, take a nap, do whatever you want to do. But at 8 o'clock, we'll be meeting at this facility. We'll give you the update on that. Those of you that will be in attendance, take a lot of pictures, share them on our Facebook group. And here's the thing I want to really make sure it's clear for everybody. If you don't attend, but you get a digital ticket, the people that attend the live, my understanding, the people that attend the live event and the people that have a digital ticket will be the first people that will be allowed back in to the beta after the beta program. Now, I expect it to be open up to everybody pretty quickly after Vegas, but they have said that the people with digital tickets and that attend the live event will have first dibs. So if you're not going to be there live, I hope you will be watching it online. I just want to take 1 second. I'm really excited about our guests tonight. We're going to be speaking with Mr. Parks. But I just need to say, for me personally, and I've been thinking about this a lot this week, I can remember times in my career when I had a lot of anticipation about what was coming. I mean, I remember back in my NSA days, and I had to do $500,000 in sales in 6 months to hit the top position in that company. And I had the group to do it, but it was not strong. I mean, it was strong, but I wasn't going to do it easily. It was going to take a lot of work to do that kind of volume in 6 months. And I remember the anticipation about that, because in 6 months, if I can qualify for this top position, I got a $3,000 a month expense account from the company, which would go a long way in the expenses that we had operating that business. It would put me in a different level in many different ways. And right in the middle of my run, that 6-month run, my number one guy, the guy I'd spent the most time with, We'd done meetings all over Tennessee, Mississippi, all down through that area. Very credible business guy. He had not duplicated. We didn't have the people in his team. We had a big team, a lot of excitement, a lot of ignorance on fire, but we had not developed, we had not gotten people out of the direct to the coaching, to the supporting stage. He was not even at a point of delegation, but he had a lot of credibility. And I spent months with him. I would go to Tennessee, Waynesboro, where he was from, and we would have meetings every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, do some lunch meetings, and spend a lot of time with this guy. And I had other great people that were really good, but it was going to be a push to get to that final position. And his daughter called me on a Sunday night, and she said, "Dale, don't come to Tennessee this week." And I said, "Why? We've already got meetings scheduled and everything." She said, "Dad was shot and killed last night." And I can't even begin to tell you what that did to me. Somebody I'd really grown close with, and it just wiped me out. I mean, I didn't get out of bed for about a week, and I didn't know what to do. It's like, there's no way I'm going to make, I'll never hit the volume requirements now, but I've lost a friend, more importantly. And about a week later, his daughter called me back, and she said, "Dale, I got two things to tell you." She said, "Number one, there's a lot of people that are worried about you." And she said, "My dad was buried with his sales coordinator pin." And she said, "I just want you to know the time that he spent with you the last 6-7 months was the happiest I've ever seen him." And she said, "Dale, if he would tell you one thing before he passed, before he got shot and killed," and they never did figure out who did it, by the way, but she said he would tell you, you do not be denied. You become a national marketing director in that company. And it got me my brain back and got me re-engaged. And I worked as hard as I could, and we made it right on time, right on schedule. But I remember that anticipation during that time. And this is the closest thing that I feel with this company right now. And I'm just being honest, guys. I have not felt this type of excitement, but uncomfortableness at the same time. That's where I, and see, I know a lot of you are feeling that way. And I want you to know, I think it's normal. We might all be crazy, but I really do think that's a normal feeling. That's the way we should feel. And, a lot of people are putting themselves on guilt trips and all this stuff. Life's too short, guys. Go all in or don't do it. It doesn't matter. But my advice is to prepare yourself now to expand your comfort zone. Do what you can now to prepare yourself when the gates open in Vegas at the end of the month, and then when OBN token goes on the exchanges. It's like the Triple Crown has started. When OBN goes on the token, goes on the exchanges, you're going to see things that I don't think has ever been seen before in the home-based business industry. I just feel it coming. So I just needed to say that tonight, because I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people, and people are just, they're kind of freaking out with all this. And I understand it, because none of us have ever seen anything like this before. I mean, every week people are saying, "Dale, where's this been? I've been looking my whole life for something like this. How can they do this?" I mean, you all are having the same conversations, I'm sure. But, just take a breath and try to enjoy the journey. The thrill really is in the journey, and just try to enjoy it. Okay, but with that said, it's a pleasure tonight to introduce to you Dan Parks. Most of you probably read Dan's extensive business background. He's got an international MBA. He served in the military with the 10th Special Forces Unit. He flies hot air balloons, helicopters, and airplanes. He's pilot. He served as owner, CIO, COO, CEO of multiple companies with employees from 5 to 5,000 people. He has 19 years network marketing experience. I know that his parents were a major influence on his life. And a few years ago, I noticed that every time I posted something on my business Facebook page, every time, and for those of you that don't know, it's facebook.com/Dale Calvert page. But every time I would post something that I considered to be really a brain dump, really thought provocative, whatever that word is, a real brain tweak, some guy named Dan Parks would always give it a thumbs up or make an intelligent comment. And all of you understand that intelligent comments are rare on social media. So it got my attention. It's like, who is this guy? And when we decided to help APLGO launch in the United States, and we started the North America launch team, Dan joined us. He was a founding member. And the only time I've had the opportunity to meet him was in Las Vegas when that company kicked off. And he's going to be in Las Vegas at the end of this month. So I look forward to seeing him again. But since our first meeting, we have talked on the phone maybe 4 or 5 times. You guys that are with us know that he's here every single week on the live events. He doesn't miss an event. He doesn't say a lot, but when he does, it always adds value, always. And like many of you, most of you, he just puts his head down and does the work. He's been listed in the IHub Global leaderboards a couple of times during the beta launch. And honestly, tonight, I just look forward to getting to know Dan a little bit better. I appreciate the fact he's agreed to this interview. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you from Nashville, Tennessee, Mr. Dan Parks. Dan, are you with us? You can take yourself off mute, and good to have you. Okay, I think we're unmuting you. There we go. How you doing, Dan?
Hey, how are you? Wow. Thank you very much for asking me to speak. Yes, a couple of things. First, you probably don't know this, Dale, but you and I share a few common things. One of the probably the most profound thing that we share is there's someone telling us not to get too fired up. We're both very passionate about what we believe and what we know, and that just drives us both to a pretty intense level of passion. So I've been told not to get fired up tonight, so I'll give it my best shot. I also don't have a filter. Yes, I've run a lot of companies. My HR people are usually very afraid of me because I'm literally just an HR nightmare waiting to happen. So I'm as I've gotten older, I thought maybe I'd get better, but maybe I haven't. I don't know. But at any rate, thanks again for inviting me.
Awesome. Well, you can, Dawn's telling me to tell you to share your screen. She's telling me, and I don't know what that means. And if you do, good. If you don't, we're cool. She said to share your screen, Dan.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, got it.
She's we're figuring this, we're kind of figuring it out as we go.
Okay.
But I want to ask you this before we get into the real meat of stuff. Tell me about Sports Illustrated 1992. I'm just curious. I just need to know, how did you end up in Sports Illustrated?
I have a bachelor's degree in microelectronics. So yeah, I designed microchips, computer chips. And I had a small stint with a company that was developing products. And at that time, it was all in my head. And I had been playing disc golf since the 70s. And I had earned my way to the world championships. And literally every day for a year, I carried a basket in my car. And at lunch, I'd be in the parking lot practicing putting. after work I'd play, before work. I mean, there's for years nonstop. And about a week before I left to go to the World Championships, the vice president of engineering said, "Hey, you know, we've got these deadlines, you can't go." And I was like, "I can get a job anywhere. I'm out of here." So he's like, "Okay." So I left. Well, after I left is when they discovered I had about $25 million worth of development and intellectual property in my head that I had developed. So the vice president was fired, and the CEO paid all my expenses. But while I was there, my first day of practice, I stepped in a rabbit hole and broke my big toe. So I played every day. I went to the Methodist sports medicine place in Indianapolis, and they'd wrap my toe and stick needles and deaden it, and I don't know what all they're doing to it. And then they'd drive me on the golf cart to each tee pad, and I played golf that way for the tournament. I didn't win, but I did finish fourth. So
Cool.
but Sports Illustrated saw it, and they saw that, and they're like, you know, like, what? So they said I was living proof of the demise of Western civilization as we know it today.
I just had that. I was just so curious about that. Let's just start off. I like to know about people as far as their background, their family, their peers, siblings, parents. I know just in our conversations that your parents were very influential in your life, but just kind of tell us about your upbringing, your background.
Sure.
Got to get up to you.
I'm one of three, so I'm the middle one. I think the middle kids are always probably the most wild. Would be probably the pace, at least in our family it is. There's a lot of years between my siblings. Both my parents had master's degrees. My father had an MBA and a master's in psychology. His plan was go to Wall Street. My mother had a master's in vocal performance. She was an opera singer. So they were going to New York City. And in the process of that, my grandparents on my father's side passed away. So they went to Montana to get rid of the ranch because they were heading to New York, and they got there and it was in foreclosure. And you know, the old story you hear, you know, 20 years later, well, he turned the ranch around and made a significant amount of money doing that, and bought his way into some companies on the East Coast and did very well from that perspective. I learned from him. He had a real magical ability to believe in people and to empower people. I know when he passed away, there was so many people, one in particular I'll never forget. We didn't know, it was a family friend, we didn't know the story, but his own father didn't believe in him, and he wanted to get in the independent insurance business. And my dad told him, he said, "I see something special in you, you got drive." And so he helped the guy get started. The guy turned out to be the largest independent insurance agent in the entire Southeast.
Wow.
And he said he owed it all because my dad believed in him. So definitely set a bar up high. My father taught me a tremendous amount about being well-read. He read probably 4 to 6 books a week for as long as I can ever remember. After he says he retired, he never did, but I know that after he officially quit going to an office, he went to the Books A Million place and got a bag of books every week to read. And it was the gamut, just everything. So it helped me understand that something he taught me before he passed away was I had just sold a telecom company, and I didn't know what I was going to do next. I was in my late 40s, and my father basically had a year left to live. So I was still kind of rolling in that, but I had just sold the company, and my pattern was to build it, sell it in about 5 years, take a year or two off, and start another company. So I wasn't wanting to do that. And my father taught me, he said, you have 2 choices in life. You can either live or die. And he said, the only way that you live is to grow. And the only way you grow is to learn. And the only way you learn is to push yourself. And the moment you stop, you start dying. And he said, most people hit 55 and they start dying. They just don't know it.
That's
and
right.
so I've never forgot that. He was one of those, You said that I don't say a lot. He was one of those people that was, for us older people, the old E.F. Hutton commercial, when E.F. Hutton speaks, that was him. You and I could take 2 sentences to say something. He'd say it in 4 words and it would be better, right to the point. So very particular person.
Cool.
My mother was absolutely a driven woman. I don't know of any person more driven than her. And my dad would be the first to tell you he's who he was because of her. And I believe that that's probably true for most successful people.
Cool.
There's usually a partner, a spouse that's that driving force. And actually, honestly, even tonight, when you kind of prepped me for tonight, I thought of some of the things, and I realized quickly how important a husband and wife or a partnership can be in this business, particularly this business, because we're not building teams. That accountability is not what it would be if we were building teams. You know, we'd be having regular meetings, those types of things. So having a partner or a spouse with you in this business right now is a great accountability partner. And whether she or he or them are building with you, it's really important to have that accountability. You talked about me never missing stuff. I'm very structured in my time management. I think that's probably the key to all of my success, is being able to not only manage time, but manage tasks and understand how you get from big ideas and big dreams and get there without getting into little step details, but to understand those milestones that come along that journey.
Awesome. Awesome. So how in the world and why? Well, first of all, when did you start in network marketing?
Oh my gosh. So there was a company years ago called Shosai, Healthy Chocolate. Gosh, it's got to be 19 years ago, I guess, something like that. I'm in some ways a creature of habit a little bit. Some things, I'm not OCD or anything, but I always have to get my Starbucks. Back in those days, it was a make or break. So there's a lady there that stalked me at Starbucks, and finally one day I just got tired of it, because like she was not going to take no. I had no interest, no, just no. And finally one day I just gave her my credit card and said, whatever it costs for you to go away, take it. Just, I don't care. And she said, well, it's going to be like 15. I don't care. Just go away. So about a week and a half, couple weeks later, I got literally this notice of delivery, and I got 12 cases of healthy chocolate. And at that particular time in my life, I was going through a phase of being like all raw food. So I didn't eat like any sugar, no dairy. I mean, it was like all raw fruits, nuts. So this was like so far off my radar, it's like nuts. So I did research and realized how powerful the product actually was. And so that was my jump into network marketing. I did it all the wrong ways. I had actually just sold a company. I was not, I had some extra cash, and I knew people that were cash strapped that, I believe given a chance, they could do really good with it, because I was following the hype that I, didn't take the time to really think about it. So I spent a lot of money to get a lot of people started, and they did nothing. All the mistakes that you talk about, I've been there, done it every single way. I left that company, followed one of the top leaders, that one, Lady Paula Pritchard.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the steps. I learned, there that I did well, but it wasn't duplicatable. I spent more time replacing those that left than those that joined. Real painful. I did well. I mean, I built a business into almost 40 countries. So I did well, but no one did well with me. And that just didn't set right with me. One thing my father taught me was a conscience is a powerful thing as long as you listen to it. So, yeah.
So why did you decide to join us when we launched the North America launch team? Because that's probably the first time, right after we launched that, was probably the first time we ever actually spoke on the phone. So how do you remember all that?
by that time, the previous company that I was in, I was really stagnant in that company. I really wasn't doing anything. I don't want to say discouraged. I was frustrated just because I knew the business model was good. I couldn't find, my brain was thinking micro franchise. That's how my brain thought. That's the only way it's going to work. And companies I built, I mean, and I wasn't seeing that. So I did a lot of Google searching, and I came across your MLM help. And I went there and started reading, and lo and behold, I went, wow, okay, this person gets it. So I joined, and I went through the MLM training club and went through that. And my first instinct was to buy the whole course and, run right to it. And then I said, no, I need to do it sequentially. I need to hold myself back and make myself. So I did it the month to month for 18 months. And it was good because it forced me to be patient. It forced me to learn the content for that month rather than just listening to everything all at once. So at any rate, so that's how I found you. And then I watched. Yeah, you saw my post on Facebook. I watched. I was in special forces. I'm pretty well known. That's one of the skills I was trained in, actually. So I started noticing you're making the moves, and it didn't take me very long to figure that out. Obviously, I have a 35-year history of IT, so there's a lot of skills that I have. I don't talk everything about, but yeah. So once I saw where you're going, that's where we started reaching out and talking. And
Cool. Okay. Right now, from all your background, all your experience, how do you feel about the possibilities of what IHub Meta offers for people?
I think for anybody at any level, I think that I don't want to get into politics and all those things, but I'll put it really simply. I think you and I have spoke. I'm not going to get into details or anything, but I will say the worst thing that you'll ever do is think that 401k plan you have right now is going to carry you through for retirement. And what I mean by that is talk to people that went through 2008 about their 401ks. There was people suicidal that went through that, literally. So first and foremost, be diversified. And I've had people, oh, yeah, my 401k is diversified. No, it's all within the stock and treasury markets. This is probably the best opportunity you will ever get to literally be on the front end of the next age of financial direction that we're going to go. I mean, it just bottom line. So for someone at a high level, and I really believe this, Dale, because, I've gotten to the 10 club. I've been on leaderboard. I've gone out there and I've done the work. And to be honest, at first, I went to my corporate connections. And I think you and I talked about this, Dale. I decided, because it was really important, it's something else my father taught me, another one of my fatherisms. In order to show the work, you have to know the work, right? How can you show other people what to do or help other people do something if you yourself haven't done it? So I told Dale I wanted to go down. So I've been pulling doors. I've been going out cold calling. And let me tell you, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. You don't think I didn't go to the first few with clammy, wet hands? I wasn't shaking anybody's hands because I had those wet, clammy hands. I was nervous as heck. But I did it, and I'll tell you, there's a few that I got out that I knew they'd be good, but I just sat in the car for 10 minutes and talked myself out of it. Again, we've all been there. None of us have done anything that I'm not, we've all done it in the last 60 days. So it's been super eye-opening. It's been frustrating. I mean, can you imagine those of us that are in the beta group? We've all been through it. I see Alan. Welcome back, Alan. Yay. But to go out to these businesses that we're giving them a gift. I've run some big companies, and I'm telling you, if someone comes in my company, which, by the way, Loop TV is in my company. When I approached my leadership with it, I didn't go to my CFO and say, hey, you know, we're going to do this thing, we're going to make this money and all. No. I went in because I have to think like Dale has taught me through the training and all the things he's done. You got to think how they think, right? So what's the number one thing a business wants to know? How do I reduce cost? They can't get rid of employees. They've got rid of as many as they can right now. You know, they've cut their, I mean, they're looking at reducing costs. That's something that a business can tangibly go, I get that. So for me, I approached the CFO and I said, how much do we spend a month on cable TV bills? And he kind of looked stunned. He said, I have no idea. I said, we'll find out. He came back later to me, said, about $5,000 a month. I said, okay, we're going to take that off the books in the next 90 days. He went, what? I said, I have a way. It's a free player. We'll entertain our patients. It won't cost us a penny, and we get rid of the cable TV. Done. Do you think at the end of the year, I'm going to have a big grin on my face when I show them how much money's sitting in that purse from 150 to 200 boxes out playing? I'm going to grin from ear to ear.
Cool.
But the other side of that is I couldn't do that on the front end because they wouldn't believe me.
What you've looked at, I know you've seen a lot of compensation plans. When you look at how we get paid here, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm approaching this at two ways. I think I have it here. I know I think y'all see my screen too, but I actually have, my goals are actually written down. I'm a very specific person about my goals. For instance, I'll be honest, Dale, my first goal when we got started, we talked about this, 100,000 boxes. I'm like Dale, I've never made $1 million in a month of income. Okay, that's of income. Never done that. Okay, but then I'm hearing the words of what's coming here very soon that we're going to see. And they said, you didn't sleep for 2 days with what we saw from Luke. You're not going to sleep for a week for what you're fixing to see. So I've scaled that back because I'm going to have to put some time for the new thing that's coming. But I'm not stopping on Luke. And come back to what you said, Dale. I think Luke TV is absolutely hands down the best, easiest way for anybody to get an income that's repeatable. I mean, think of the college kids right now that are going to college. How many of us have kids or grandkids? I got grandkids. They're getting ready to go to college. And what if you could go through them and through them help them get 50 boxes? And they've got a nice little income of say $3,000-4,000 a month while they're at college, and they can focus on college. Man, I've never seen that. And here's the thing. You can go to network marketing, okay? And honestly, you go to talk to them and you'll find 100,000 people tell you, oh, yeah, you can do that in 2 months, no problem. And I call BS. You can't. So, yeah. I mean, I believe in that. You opened my eyes, Dale, when you came out too, and that's why I'm here now, is because you're ethical, you're honest, you have a conscience, and you came out and said, look, I believe in the industry too. It's a marketplace, and you're right.
That's right. Yeah. It doesn't matter how great your product is. It doesn't matter. If people don't care, they don't care. And
this is the new network marketing on steroids. You don't have to build a team.
that's right.
You still got to go through the same uncomfortable growth phase.
You do. I don't know why you do. We shouldn't have to, but we do. Yeah.
It's just part of it.
Yeah, I guess.
My first company I started, Dale, seriously, my first company was a software company. I went to my dad and I said, Dad, he's like, show me a business plan. So I wrote one up and we sat down, he went through it and he slid it back to me after he made some notes. I'm like, yes, man. All right. And he said, when I got started, nobody would help me. They wouldn't even talk to me. Best thing that ever happened to me. I would not want to rob you of that. And I was 27 years old. I was like, what? I mean, I didn't know how to respond, right? So he slid it back. He said, I'm going to be honest. I think you've got a great idea, but the best thing you'll do is go find your own money, because then you'll have pride and you'll be grateful for what you've accomplished and learned and earned. So,
Man, I hope people hear that. I hope parents hear that. Phew. So true.
well, I've had people say how mean no, best thing ever.
Yeah. 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 I've had to have that conversation with one of my daughters so far. Yeah. But you appreciate it now, so I'm going to make sure she sees this. What would you tell, this is the last question, what would you tell business professionals that maybe have never been involved in this type of business before? I mean, but they're frustrated. Maybe they've got the glass ceiling in corporate America, or they've got a business where the business owns them. They don't really own the business. But anybody with a strong traditional business background, what would you tell them? Not about network marketing, because I would honestly tell them to avoid it, but about what we're doing here with iHub Meta. What would you tell them?
I tell them this is the entry point into the next generation of technology and where our world's going. Last week's corporate call with iHub with the founder from OpenView, I actually cut that down to a 17-minute segment of video. But if you go back and watch him explain their 4-year plan and that journey, you'll quickly understand and grasp this, because the reality is, even for someone like me, who's always been very good at that 4 to 5 year window and running businesses that way, I can't tell you what a year looks like in this, because it's changing that fast and that quickly. But I can tell you this company has invested since 2017 to basically develop and own that backbone of how transactions are going to occur in the metaverse. And I have to tell you, when Dale talked about buying a mansion and renting it, I thought, it's pretend. I'm serious. I'm sitting and go, the dude's lost his mind. He's an idiot, an absolute idiot. And I told Sarah, I said, oh, I got some deals for him if he can write a check that fast. Holy cow. So, but here's the reality. This guy last week put the dots together. It's what you saw, Dale. When he talked about Facebook and placement advertising, that's when the ding, ding, ding went off. And for anybody in traditional business, I don't care what your success is, if you don't see that this is almost like the front end of .com. It feels very specific to advertising, but I promise you, where this company is going to take us is it's just going to all of a sudden open into this whole world of like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, don't stand by and watch it, because I'm telling you, I got a chance to buy Microsoft at $12 a share, and I thought they were stupid. And then my dad came along and said he had some stock called Starbucks. It's $2 a share. And I said, you're stupid. My dad looked at me and smiled and said, coffee's addictive, son, and it's legal. We'll see you later. And he left. So,
okay. Any final thoughts before we get into our question and answer section? Anything you want to share before we end this part of it?
I hope that everybody that sees this live right now, that are with us now and sees the recording, I really, truly hope you will get out of your comfort zone, stop analyzing, stop being all those things, get engaged with the Facebook group, ask questions. If you don't know what to do, ask. Don't just sit there and hunt around, because I'm going to tell you, the best thing is right now, everyone you get to talk to, you get to tell them about Luke TV. The worst thing that's going to happen is everyone you go to is going to tell you about Luke TV. And if you're in the second part of that, you've lost the game.
That's right.
End of story. And think about it. Here's the magic. 100 boxes. It's doable. It's not impossible. You're not going to do it in 10 days. You're not going to do it in 30 days. Figure 60 at the best, probably 120 is better if you'll set the pace for how many people you talk to, because it's a numbers game. So I can't, this is that time, Dale, where after that voice goes, don't get fired up, because then I start getting fired up. And then, but I'm telling you, I can't, I've been so blessed in my life, and I have made and done things that few people ever have. And I mean, time and time again. For people from the West, the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, our family started that.
Wow.
My mother's family is the Cutter Aviation family. You know, my uncle is in the Hall of Fame for aviation. So that's one side. My father's self-made into venture capitalist. He showed me the way to build companies and do very well. But this is an opportunity that the few don't get, everybody gets. This is the old story that Dad told me once. He said he never understood this. The table of greatness is set for everybody. Why doesn't everybody sit there?
Mm.
I can't answer that. I really can't. But this is that situation. Everybody on this call, Dale, everybody watching for the next 120 days has a chance to take this and run. And I'm looking, I can see people on the screen right now that are runners. And we're all running. And we're all at different paces. So it's not a race to see who wins. It's a race to run.
Yep.
So
Run when you can run. The race is against yourself.
Yep, exactly. So thank you, Dale. I really appreciate you inviting me. I'm very
Man,
thankful.
it was great. I appreciate it. Guys, Dawn, I need your help. We're going to take some questions. Y'all have questions, raise your hand. Kurt, I see you first. Go right ahead. Let me stop this recording first.
Presentation could be a little bit more